Welcome to another episode of the One-on-One podcast. My name is Joshua Katz. For those that don't know me yet, we are on episode 35, and we are very, very, very excited about this one. I am joined, as always, by our video producer, Ryan Esteban, and my counterpart, Kathy Baker, who was just recently announced as a 2023 Housing Wire Woman of Influence.
Whoop, whoop.
So can we give Kathy a big shout out really quick? Because that's huge news.
Thank you. I was very honored. Thank you. And it's great. I think you guys are propping me up for that. I think part of that's probably because I'm a pea in the pod. That's all I can say.
Kathy, I was so excited to see that press release go live yesterday.
Thank you. Thank you. Did you write that?
I did not. I edited it, but Corey wrote that.
Thank you. Yeah. Speaking of editing and writing, I'm kind of excited about our guest today.
Yeah, I'm excited about this one too. Why don't you introduce him? I know you know him a little bit better than I do.
I do. I'm very, very pleased to announce Scott is with one of our offices, Rog Sterling, in Nebraska. So all your referrals in Nebraska, you now know where to send them. But in addition to being one of our seasoned professionals, he's joining our team as one of our coaches, because after this introduction today, you're going to see why we're thrilled to have him on our platform as one of our coaches. Scott has a wonderful background. He's a veteran, so thank you for your service. He's also worked with social work. So he comes to us with a great understanding of people and also as an influencer. So today, what we're going to talk about with Scott Bergmann is AI.
Absolutely.
And that's kind of like EIEIO, right?
Pretty much. Old McDonald said it first. Yeah.
Yeah, he did. So Scott, welcome. We're glad to have you here.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for inviting me, for having me. And I feel so blessed to be part of this brand and be part of this conversation.
Scott, before we get into, I'm just going to tell you right now on camera, Kathy knows AI scares the living shit out of me as a writer and, a content maker. So you're going to hear probably a little bit of opposition in my voice. But I really I want to pick your brain. We had a previous episode with our digital director, Savag, and then Mark Pesson, our chief learning officer, talking about it right when ChatGPT started getting trendy and big and a lot of companies and people on social were using it. But I want you to really break it down from the perspective of this industry and how it can be a very, very lucrative tool if used correctly.
And Absolutely. Can I stop you there before you get started? I think one thing that I want to emphasize is it is a tool. It is not meant to be more than that. And I think that's where fear comes in, is that it can actually replace people. And I just don't think for our industry, that's the intent. So take it away, Scott.
Absolutely. Well, one, I really love that you said that it's exactly that. It's a tool and a resource. I've heard so many people, just like you mentioned, that they're afraid of it. One, as content creators, the fear is, okay, now that mass content, if you will, can be automated or produced at such a high level, where does that leave us content creators? And then within our industry, I've found that they're either on one side of the rope or the other. A lot of agents just based out of pure fear are just shying away from it. And then you have another subset of agents who were maybe actively using it in their business. And I found that there's not really a difference between the two. So specific to our industry, I'll let you know up front, all of your competition is actively using it. When I say competition, both Zillow and Redfin have an extension that's already developed in ChatGPT. So please know that if you haven't jumped on and gotten familiar with it, the times of being afraid of it are starting to pass you up. Everything new, everything unknown is scary. And Josh, you had mentioned that you're on the side of being a tad bit afraid of it, and being a content creator like yourself. I'm assuming one of your biggest fears is, okay, you put so much time and effort into your individual content. What does that do to your industry and the mass production of content? And for agents, the big fear is, wow, what is AI going to take away from us within our industry? And to that, I would say it's only going to add to our level of expertise and skills throughout this industry. And you have agents that are afraid of it and agents that are on the side of getting familiar with it. So we always fear what we don't know. And the more familiarity people can get with starting with ChatGPT, the higher level of expertise and the higher level of comfortability, because I haven't quite found somebody who's actively using it who's still afraid of it. So I, in my case, would say, for those that are having the initial fear, just start. We've been using AI for quite some time when it comes to going to Google. When Google finishes your sentences, like it has been for the past, 20 years or so, that's AI. It's picking up on the content that's being asked. So we've actively been using it. Now it's just a little bit more in our face. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you make a good point. And I think that there's a distinction between, and like, I want to backtrack. Like when I say that I'm afraid, it's more me poking fun at, I want to be the one out there striking with the writers right now, just because I think the creativity is being pulled out of it. But that's a completely different conversation. But I do think that it is a tool. Like Kathy, we talked about this on the last episode. It is a tool that, one, the tool is in its complete infancy, so it's only going to get better. And two, like if used correctly, it is so lucrative for someone's business. I mean, there are things that, like, for example, writing doesn't come naturally to everybody. So if you can use ChatGPT as a benchmark to building, let's say, social posts or blog posts or whatever it might be, I mean, it's a great starting point. Would you agree?
I'd 100% agree. And I love that you brought that up. The starting point, if you're looking to start using ChatGPT or AI in general, is start with all the stuff that you absolutely do not like doing. I'm an orator by nature. I love speaking. I use ChatGPT more in my content writing and my email writing and all the things that I would gladly have paid somebody to do. Now I don't have to pay anybody to do it. I can use AI to execute those essentials to my business. And I, as an agent, and all agents, we're external by nature. We like being out and meeting with new clients. We like face-to-face contacts. I have yet to meet an agent who's successful who says, no, I hate meeting new people and I hate being away from my computer. Now, with AI, if you're using it effectively, you can now use it almost as an employee in helping you do your marketing and your SEO and your content creation for you, while you go and execute what great agents do so well, meet amazing people and help them buy and sell homes.
Kathy, it sounds like the ChatGPT can do everything that mine and Ryan's team can do, which eliminates us entirely.
No.
Not at all. Not at all.
Because, it's not all, and we can get into that. I'd love for Scott to talk about the best practices to use it as a tool, and the fact that you have to fact check, because it's not going to come back correct. I mean, there should be a lot of caution, as much caution as encouragement around this in my world.
I think that's a really good way of putting it.
From a broker standpoint.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, for real estate agents, we provide education and advice both face to face, and we should be putting it in writing. And one of the biggest resolutions that I think AI brings to our industry is the ability to take our message, our crafted message, because ChatGPT is not writing anything that I didn't ask it to do. It's not going to work on my computer while I'm not looking, while my computer's shut. It has to move when I put my hands on it and I've given it my flavor. And that's my biggest tips is, when you're starting with AI, allow yourself to get familiar with it, and it can get familiar with you. If you are somebody who's been in the industry for 25 years, tell ChatGPT, hey, I'm rewriting my bio. I've been in the real estate industry for 25 years. And you've got to be self-aware enough to be able to put your brand and your flavor into ChatGPT and allow it to build content around who you are. When I go in and I create prompts, and I'll get into prompts here in a second, when I create prompts, I always start with what I want out of the output. What is the goal? I want you to create 35 emails for a drip campaign to a new home buyer. And I tell it a little bit about myself. My name is Scott Bergmann. I love helping first-time home buyers, and I'm looking to guide first-time home buyers through an email series on the steps necessary to not only buy the first home, but schedule an appointment with me. I would be looking face to face at an employee and having that exact same conversation, but I'd be having to pay quite a bit of payroll and kind of keep myself hovering over their shoulder to make sure they executed, when that prompt that I just mentioned right there can be created in 15, 20 seconds flat. And then Kathy, I love that you brought this up. You are always the editor in any content that is written. ChatGPT doesn't go and post stuff for me. I take a look at the content. I make sure it matches my flavor and my brand and my message. And the good news is, instead of having to red pen it up and send it back via an email and then have it edited and sent back, all I do is I go back into that same chat box and I say, hey, please rewrite it this way or fix this sentence. And it really does help me and help great agents get their message everywhere. If you're known for great video production and you're lacking some blogs that match that, or some email content that matches that, that's where AI jumps in. All it does is take your brand and your flavor and put it on hyper mode and as loud as you can get in a way that we couldn't do before. So I can't encourage agents enough to not just get familiar with AI and ChatGPT, but let it get familiar with you. I'm not talking about share your social security number here. I'm saying don't be afraid to let it know how long you've been in the industry. Tell it who you're trying to seek and what your overall goal is, and allow it to help you in building that content.
I love what you just said, because one of my questions jumping onto this was going to be, how do you think the adoption rate's going to be for the boomers that are still in the industry, or the people that are a little bit older and have not really been in tune with all these jumps in technology? And I feel like if they go and listen to what you just said in the last 2 minutes, you explained it so succinctly that once they understand it, it can be so good for their business. And it's not that difficult to understand.
Not at all. Not at all. And what I can't preach enough is, and it's in any business and any conversation, if you ask poor questions, you will get poor answers.
Sure.
ChatGPT is no different. When we have conversation and we're asking questions back and forth to get more familiar with each other, that communicated in ChatGPT, we call it a prompt, right? I don't have to ask 97 questions to get the output that I want. If I ask the right question the right way, I'm going to get that output. And I think that's where a lot of boomers, as you mentioned them, they know that it's there. They may be using it lightly in their business. But what I'm hearing now is, well, it doesn't ever deliver. It doesn't give me the information that I actually want. The question I have in return to that is, are you asking as specific of a question that you can to get the output that you want? And so it was a Waking Up to Win. What did we do, Kathy, about a month ago? And it's on ONE University now. I walked through how to build a detailed prompt to then get the output that you want. And on top of that, if you are either a boomer getting into AI or you haven't used it quite yet, there are quite a few tools to actually write the prompts for you just off a little bit of output. And I'm going to give you one of them. Keywords Everywhere. It's an amazing extension that, Josh, you may know in SEO optimization or SEO keyword research. They've now added a ChatGPT extension to where if you have keywords everywhere, you can go into ChatGPT and literally choose from a multitude of pre-written prompts. All you do is put in the tone of voice that you want and then a specific task. So on that webinar that's on ONE University, I walked through some of the specific prompts that I use to go and write a ton of blog content, month-long Facebook calendar, email content series, everything like that. But at the end of the day, I'm still the owner of what gets put out. ChatGPT isn't putting my social media content. I make the decision to review that content myself, and then I go and put that out there. If you don't like the output, it's not out there in the world as compared to that beach photo you took years ago, post on Instagram. That's still there. When you go and ask ChatGPT a question or give it a prompt, it doesn't automatically go to the internet. It's not going places where other people can actively see it. So you still control the output of that information and where it goes.
Right. And I'd love, can you, maybe let's break down. I think we, not to like insult anyone's intelligence, but I think we understand the purpose of, like, for example, like focusing on SEO, right? Focusing on
Yeah.
keywords. Can you
Yeah.
maybe explain like how that will like exponentially benefit someone's business?
Oh my goodness, I could spend hours on
I know.
SEO. SEO, ultimately search engine optimization.
Right.
When you go into Google, friends and family, and you start typing in a question, because what I love about Google in relationship to the other platforms is I go and seek entertainment and connection on Facebook, Instagram, etc. I go to Google for answers.
Mhm.
And just like everybody else out there. So what I love about ChatGPT and SEO specifically, you want to be the digital mayor in your town. Good, bad, or indifferent, people go to Google before they go to their friends and family nowadays to find the right real estate professional. So when they go to Google and they type in best real estate agent in Omaha, you absolutely want your face and your brand to pop up. And
Right.
SEO is exactly how you do that. So, for example, you got to think of SEO overall as just the ability to be found on Google. And how does Google find you?
Yep.
Google does it in a very specific manner, right? You got to be relevant. You have to have your name attached to some content that says best agent in Omaha. On top of that, Google really likes it when you repeat that term or that keyword over and over again on your website. So if you've been looking to break into a specific niche, or you just want to be found a lot more on Google, you should be utilizing SEO and specifically ChatGPT to help you with that, to get the message out there. If you want to take yourself and turn into a luxury real estate professional in the next 6 months, you need to be creating content on your website that specifically talks about being a luxury agent. And when I say you, it would take me, and Josh would probably you as well, months to build out a year's worth of content to make that happen. ChatGPT can build it for you in 15 to 20 minutes. And then you take that, you put that out there in the world on your website, everywhere you can, your Facebook, YouTube videos, anywhere you can go. All it's really doing is giving you the tools and the research that you need to be able to be successful in a Google search. I can go on for hours about optimizing meta and H1 data, but for now, as an agent, I would SEO and for those that I'd say for those that are afraid of ChatGPT, they're probably just as afraid of Google and SEO, because I know that I was. I can manage Facebook, I can manage Instagram, I work on those. Google used to scare the heck out of me. Now that I got familiar with ChatGPT and I got deeper into SEO, I go to ChatGPT when I want to optimize my content on my website and have it write it for me so that the SEO works and that I can be found on Google.
And
go ahead, Kathy. I affectionately refer to it as Google Juice.
Yes, that's a great term for that. Yeah.
And I will give everyone listening a little homework assignment, because Ryan and I did this. We Googled you, Scott, and it's such. Savag's going to love that I'm saying this right now. Any agent needs to have, like, when you Google your name and whatever brokerage or wherever you're hanging your license, it needs to look like Scott Bergmann's. It does, because it is that, like, I can't tell you. It's just like when I Google In-N-Out Burger on Jefferson Avenue, like, I want that to pop up right there. I don't want to search at all. And it should be just as simple when I'm looking for a real estate agent.
Oh, absolutely. And if you haven't built a Google My Business page yet, and I know that we've all gone down that
I think we actually had one of the episodes with Savag was on Google My Business, but yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. I can if you have the Keywords Everywhere extension, they have an entire subset of prompts that is specifically dedicated to building your Google My Business, not just your profile, but content and post created. If you're a new agent or a seasoned agent and you want to kill two birds with one stone, one being you get reviews and you get optimized, don't ever be afraid to ask your clients. And I always ask for reviews the exact same way. And I'm going to let you know how I do it. First, I ask the person, and Josh, we can role play a little bit. Hey, you're closing tomorrow. You pretty excited?
Very.
So let me ask you, did I give you 5-star service?
I thought it was 6 out of 5.
I love that. Would you take just like 2 minutes and help me prove that to the world? I'm going to send you my Google Business Review link. Here's what I do with those reviews. I take those reviews and I put them on social media during closing day. So I might be able to help more people just like you. And could you do me a huge favor, Josh? You wouldn't mind? If you can go and put best real estate agent in Omaha in that review, I will take you to lunch next week. Is that fair?
I'll do you one better. I will put it into ChatGPT and I'll see what comes out.
I absolutely love it. Thank you so much. I'm gonna send that link right over. If you just kind of think about what I did there. One, I asked you up front if you're going to give me a 5-star review, because if you're going to hit me with a 4 out of 5, I was going to back away from the conversation and never ask for that review again.
Yeah.
And from that, when I tell you where I'm going to put it, I'm going to put it on social media. What's that mean? That means your mama's going to see it, right? So if you know mama's going to see it, you're going to go ahead and write something kind. And on top of that, what did I do at the tail end? If I want to rank for best real estate agent in Omaha, if I go and what's really interesting, and if you go Google yourself or you go look at your reviews, you'll notice Google is actually taking snippets of little words throughout your reviews and building kind of a search bar at the top. So if I have all my clients go back and type in best real estate agent in Omaha during the review, not only am I getting the review, I'm giving specifics to have them help me get optimized on Google.
Very, very, very important tool, is it not, Kathy?
Yeah,
it is. And the thing I look at, and I want your opinion on this because I'm often wrong. The thing that I get excited about AI is I know how, and I'm a boomer, I'm old, but I know how our future is going to be the Y and the Z generation.
Yeah.
And I know that they had rather text than talk. And I'm hopeful that AI is going to be a good tool to give that generation words to be face to face and confidence to be face to face. Because and I may be overthinking it and I don't want to underjudge, but I think they're going to need help with scripting. And
without a doubt.
I think that is a message that we could, in our industry, convey to that generation to say, don't stumble over your words. Don't miss opportunities. Ask AI how to say things, how to have
absolutely
from the eye contact. Is that overthinking it, Josh? What do you think?
No. Yeah.
It scares me to say to a generation, this is how I don't know how to converse correctly. Let me have someone do it for me. That is nerve-wracking a little bit to me, but I do think that this is a completely different conversation, but like this generation, like behind the millennials, their social skills might be lacking, but they are so driven in so many other areas. And so I think that with this tool, like there might be a correction. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Ryan, what do you think? Ryan, what you think?
I mean, I agree with Josh in the sense that like me and Josh are pretty much like from the same generation. We're both millennials, mid 30s. I think he makes a good point in the sense that, that next generation, because they grew up around tech, and like I've seen it with like nieces and nephews, right? Like they grow up around tech, they pick it up so quickly that I think their ability to kind of work their way around it, it's almost like their ingenuity is kind of what is going to help them along.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, at the end of the day, we are still in a business where we have to meet people face to face and have to have an effective face to face conversation to close a deal. I may go buy a $120 pair of Nikes online. I am not going to spend $500,000 buying a home unless I know a trusted professional is guiding me through that process. So to that, one, when you were bringing up text messages, I laugh because I read some of the text messages that my daughters send me, and it takes me 3 minutes to peel back what they were trying to say. So I'd argue that, hey, maybe we're going to get more quality text messages out of this generation than we have been in a little bit, but that's just me. And what I like about it is it would give those agents who grew up with it the ability to not only communicate effectively, but to communicate authentically. And I know that sounds contradicting, but if you think about it, if you spend time working with ChatGPT in your own chat box and it's learning more about your communication style, when you go to communicate during your buyer's consultation or your listing consultation, you know that not only do you have the scripts, you have the scripts that are in line with your brand and your communication style. So if you're using it effectively, is there the fear that, sure, it would negate the necessity to have conversations, but the benefit to this industry is no one's going to ever take that away from us. Yeah. Someone is always going to need a trusted professional to help them through that process, and AI is only going to allow those to communicate more effectively. So I think it's a double-sided coin. That's a great point.
Yeah, I agree. Kathy, I can see why you recruited Scott for ONE University. I want to bring you back and we can just do like a profile, because I feel like we could do an SEO episode if we wanted to, and we can actually bring on our SEO specialist on our team, and we could do one on Google My Business and bring Savag back on. I feel like I've said Savag like 15 times in this episode.
I want to throw Savag and Scott in a podcast.
Yeah, I do too. Actually, I want to throw them in like a ring.
Yeah, that'd be fun. That's exciting.
Yeah, that would be great.
For our viewers, if you haven't bought your base camp ticket in Miami, please go, because these guys have promised to take me to a tattoo parlor and get me a tattoo.
Kathy, we will get tattoos in Miami together, and we are also bringing the podcast to Miami, just like we did last year in Austin.
That's fun.
So we will be doing some like mini episodes, building some content in Miami, and we are very, very excited for it.
I don't have a tattoo. I want a tattoo that's a P with a pod with 3 little P's, and one that says Ryan, one that says Josh, and one that says Kathy.
I will do it if Ryan and you do it. I'm not even kidding.
Okay.
That's great.
I love this because I'm excited to see the tattoo.
Okay.
Well, Scott,
we're excited to have you back.
Yes, we really, really are.
Awesome. I hope I can come back.
Thank you again, Scott, and we'll see you soon. Kathy and Ryan, thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
See you guys. Ryan. Talk soon. Bye.
We thank you for joining us today on another episode of One on One, a Realty ONE Group podcast. We are powered by ONE.U and ask if you have suggestions, recommendations, or questions, please email learning@realtyonegroup.com. And remember, pay close attention to the details. Listen to understand, not respond, and always be a resource, not a sales pitch.